It's time for the Steve and Kyle podcast with Steve.
I need you to know that Roman Hammerlick's wife doesn't want a Roman Hammerlick jersey.
I can guarantee you that everybody is going to want this jersey when I
Okay.
show you.
By the way, when you had mentioned that you want a Hammerlick jersey for a reason, I thought it was going to be you were a 13-year-old who thought it was funny to say "lick the hammer."
And Kyle.
If you could direct your attention up to the up to the Tron, it's basically a Tampa Bay Lightning Roman Hammerlick basketball jersey, like
Okay.
tank top.
Okay, so buy two of them.
One for me, one for you.
Obviously, Steve, it is about time. It is high time that this podcast starts enjoying the finer things in life. And that is a 1992 left-handed shooting Czechoslovakian defenseman's tank top.
Live on tape from APS 3 point whatever, it's the Steve and Kyle podcast.
That's 4.0, Melissa, 4.0. As discussed in last week's Flashback Friday episode, that was our first episode in here back in 2022. We've been in here 3 years. It seems insane.
Yeah, and it must have been early 2022 as well, I'm assuming.
I think it was January 11th, 2022.
Happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary, the big 3.0 to moving into a new studio. Everybody celebrates that.
I am kind of surprised we didn't hear from the Hammers family this week. I would have just assumed he had Google alerts on for his name, right?
Right, yeah.
Yet, here we are, still with no interview scheduled
No.
for the Hammer.
You know, do you want me to give you a breaking news update, though? I got a breaking news update right now on...
Do we have a sounder for this? Because this feels important. Because
have we ever had one?
can I guess the update? The update is... Here's my guess.
Mm-hmm.
We've been hacked and there was never actually Roman Hammerlick merch that existed.
Breaking news. Those shirts, the Roman Hammerlick shirts, will be here Thursday, March 13th by 7 p.m.
I don't believe you. That is shocking.
Oh, boy, can't wait.
Absolutely.
Can't wait. So that means Friday, I'm wearing mine to work.
Well, obviously. Yes.
I would expect you to do the same.
Yes. Well, I mean, I work from home, but yes, I will wear it to work. And what I'll do is I'll make sure to send a picture to all of my mid-40s female coworkers because that's the group I work with. It's
Okay.
pretty exclusively that.
Now you work. Obviously, we've talked about great detail. You work in the mortgage denial industry.
Well, yes. I work in, yes. Sure.
Mortgage denial adjacent.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the paperwork's coming in from hopeful potential home buyers.
Yeah. And they say, this is the one. I've never... I'll see some of those in packets. We receive those letters. Did you write a letter, by the way?
No. The love letters. I was, which is what they're referred to as, from by the realtors.
Yeah.
We were strongly advised not to do love letters. And if you look at some of the home listings, like say you go on Zillow, and it'll say, all offers must be in by Tuesday at 5 p.m. A lot of them now say no love letters. Because people are tired of that. They're tired of trying to get guilted into selling their home for less money because young Bobby and Matilda want to start a family.
Yeah, like that the thought of the tree in the backyard brought them such overwhelming, joyous thoughts of a future family that they can barely contain themselves when they walk through this home.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. Look, in 20 years, maybe 2 months, whenever we're going to sell this house, I'll tell you what's going to really, really, really get to me is if you send me a letter saying, I will pay you the most amount of money for your house.
That's all it should say.
Whatever somebody offers you, tack on 10 grand.
Yes.
That's a love letter for me.
A 2-line love letter.
I love that.
To Steve as he sells. I like your house. I'll pay more than anyone else.
Yeah. Just give me right of first refusal.
Sincerely, prospective buyer. I don't want to know your name.
No, I don't want to know your name. I don't want to know your significant other's name. I don't care how many kids you have or that your dog loves our backyard.
Grandpappy was in the Korean conflict back.
It's similar to when you go online looking for a recipe.
Yeah.
And all you want is the recipe. And they insist on saying that Uncle Giuseppe brought this from the old country back in the aughts.
I need to know how much sugar, Jan.
Yeah.
That's it.
Give me the details. How much money are you going to put in my pocket? That's all I care about.
Can we? It's just kind of
sorry,
came
I
to
didn't
me.
mean to get so flustered.
In 2 weeks on this very podcast when we have a little time.
Mm-hmm.
Can we bring back the love letters? And can you and I each write a prospective podcast co-host letter to the other about why I think you, Steve, are the only possible co-host that I could host this podcast with?
Okay.
And then you would do... So you want me, you're pitching me, and I'm pitching you as the only possible outcome.
So I'm a single podcaster looking to find my soulmate.
You're struggling with tent, okay? There's gaps of content that you're like, boy, that could be filled by a prospective co-host, and you're the only one. Mm-hmm. And I'll write a letter saying, I talk too much. I need someone to wind me down. Steve, you're the only one that can do it.
Okay. So yeah, when we record again in roughly 2 weeks, you just have to remind me in 2 weeks minus 12 hours.
Right. So I figure I'll wait till you go to bed the night before. So around 9:45, I'll text you just to make sure that if you're not in bed, you're now like, well, dang it, I've got to do this before I go to bed. Yeah. But if I go to bed, I'm not going to feel whatever. So
I picture myself laying in bed, but kind of propped up, you know, with a quill pen, writing this by candlelight for some reason. I don't know.
Well, you don't want to wake Annette up, so you can't have your full light on.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Right.
So just 2 weeks from now.
Because the other alternative for you is if you go to bed, and then you're laying there, and you think of like one funny line. Mm-hmm. You're like, oh, I'll remember that in the morning. But then you tell yourself, I'm not going to remember that in the morning. So then you're leaning over, lighting that candle anyway, and, dipping that quill into the vat of ink to get that one funny line down. Yeah. We mentioned the Hammer Time. The Roman Hammerlick shirts are on their way.
On their way. Again, they're going to be here on Thursday, March 13th. By the time you're listening to this, we still got a day or two.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're on the way. Surprisingly, I got a follow-up email to our order.
Okay.
It took like 3 days to get it.
Yeah. Was it like hammerlickshirt.llc / like PPY or something? So like our information is definitely on the dark web now.
No, it's just from Lightning T-Shirts store. That's the name of the store. Seems like they're a little too limited on their offerings, but that's okay. Our $49.68 or however much it is out in the world doing its work. Those shirts are on the way. I can't wait to get my Roman Hammerlick T-shirt.
And if you're listening to this now, hopefully it's up by now, but I've been tweaking and working on a Hammer Time piece of merch for the merch store, which is a good opportunity to mention the merch store right now, steveandkyle.com/merch. It's also linked on our website and in all the show notes that we have as well. But 4 new designs in the last month: CHR Cootery, Barney Baloney, Steve and Kyle's Nature Camp, and the newest piece up there last week, Steve's Pallet Liquidation Station.
That's right.
We haven't
done an update on that in a bit.
Yeah, I'm hoping in the next week or maybe next week we can get a video out there posted so we can go through the absolute garbage you must have left, because you're now I'm assuming you're getting down towards what we would call the nitty gritty.
I have 67 items remaining.
That's a lot of items.
That's a lot of items.
And I would assume that you would look at 67 items, and if I could guess off the top of your head, would you call 50 of them crap?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, easily.
So you got 10 to 20 okay things that you're looking to hawk.
10 to 20 potentially useful items.
Boy, that is a sales pitch.
Looking for something that you might be able to use someday?
Now, I did see, I didn't want to directly ask this on air, but now that we're here, why not? I did see we may have had a podcast-related inquiry a couple of weeks ago about a heated sweatshirt?
Heated jacket.
Okay. Was there any sale related to the heated jacket?
I sent the person
A message.
the direct link.
Yep.
Never heard anything back. So basically, it's going well. It's like every other interaction on Facebook, still available.
Yeah.
I reply, yes, it is. And then they don't even read the message.
I was just going to ask for our piece. If you had made that sale.
Oh, absolutely.
I was going to ask for the podcast chunk of the pie, if you will.
Yeah, I think that podcast is entitled to 40%, I think, right? That seems fair. It's basically a finder's fee.
Would it be 40% of the sale or 40% of the determined profit?
40% of the profit.
Which, oh boy, I mean, that's a lot of work. I'll take your word for it because I don't want to figure out the value.
You don't need me to like show receipts and tax documents.
Of like not DKNY, so it's like actually DNKY. So you got a donkey.
donkey.
You got the donkey hooded heated jacket that you're looking up values for, and then we have to take 40% of the profit of what you sold that for.
That's a lot of work for Big Dutch Ron.
Somehow, and I don't have, I think it's because you joined some of the garage sale Facebook pages that I had been on, possibly.
Oh, yeah, I think I'm in 15 of them now.
Because I'll see when I go onto Facebook a notification saying, and you'll click the number and you'll see Steve posted in whatever.
Oh, so you're seeing my notifications.
But only occasionally and not all of them. So like yesterday I'll see, and then I see like you're probably upgrading some of the descriptions, like because the first few words I saw was like not immaculately conceived, because we talked about that last week or a couple weeks ago. Again, it's either immaculate conception or pack your bags when you're chatting mania.
Right.
But yeah, I'm assuming you were describing some jewelry. You're becoming quite the expert.
Man, I have one piece of jewelry left, and it is nice, and it is.
Is this the immaculately concepted?
Yes, the immaculately concepted necklace for just $15. $15.
This already feels like a steal.
Yeah, exactly. Steal from me. Go ahead.
I'm okay with it, folks. Yeah, meticulously crafted was the first.
Meticulously crafted. Yeah. Yes, that was me going to the website of the manufacturer, copy, and then going back to Marketplace, paste. And but I went through. I have 67 current listings on my Facebook Marketplace profile, and updated every single one of them yesterday.
Did you?
Because you can click on them and
renew
them, but also list in more places. So if I've joined more groups since I've posted it, I can go back and update it, and it'll send it out to more groups, spam more innocent people with my garbage. But it's paying off, man.
Yeah.
It's paying off.
Again, hopefully, maybe next week we can try to get a video again as we show the dwindling items.
It doesn't look much different.
Really?
Yeah, it doesn't look much different.
That was kind of my guess. I don't want to take credit again. Well, yes, I do. I kind of assumed we'd hit maybe, I shouldn't say lull, but a slowdown, right?
Absolutely. Since we've recorded last, I've only sold 4 items off of the pallet.
Woof.
But I've sold 5 items off of the non-pallet list, and that's where the surprise, the cheddar has been made.
I sit here, and I feel like I don't think you're down, but I wanted to. Hey, everything you're selling. There's only 4 items, Steve. Now, sure, would a lot of people look at that as a massive disappointment and reconsider everything they're doing? Maybe.
Possibly.
But I don't want you to do that. That's not for you. I'm just saying that for most people, Steve. But for you, that's all on the correct side of the ledger. When we recorded last, you were in the green.
Yeah, and God knows I'm not going backwards.
You've turned more of a profit in 1 month. 1 month? 6 weeks?
It's been, let's see, it looks like we bought the pallet on 2/6. So yeah, we were just over 1 month.
Then this podcast has in coming up on 9 years.
Oh, easily, yeah.
What's the trick?
Every now and then, you got to give it a little bit of effort.
Oh.
I know.
Less interested now.
I know. I hear you.
You mean like prepare and like do bits and talk about things?
Yeah. Yeah.
Increase the quality of your output and
I know. It's terrible.
copy listings from other podcasts and seeing as I open Facebook to see the meticulously crafted from ... And again, I don't know what that is. I didn't click your link. Apologies. I don't know if that helps your sales.
Yeah,
or hurts
come on.
your
If you
sales.
could go through, click it. The algorithm thing.
Let me see. Is there a like? Can I like? Can I poke you? Is that just the old Facebook?
Yep.
As I open Facebook, there is now 3 things I'm reminded of I wanted to ask you.
Oh, good.
So I would like you to possibly pick from a question I have that would be more of a long-form conversation, a topic you and I briefly discussed about a week ago via text, or my grievance with you.
Oh, boy. I like to avoid controversy and avoid conflict, so I'm probably going to push that one to the side. Maybe we can do that like as the outro music starts playing. Maybe you can bring it up. So it has to be.
Oh, we're out of music.
It has to be very limited. Like the max we can be in conflict is about 1.5 minutes.
I'll say this is a big one too.
Okay,
It's a big one.
okay. The thing that what was the other one? The thing that we talked about something that
you
we
and I briefly discussed it. And I just wanted to ask you on the podcast about it. If it's something that we could endeavor to.
I kind of want to go with the first one, the in-depth conversation.
Sure. Okay. I got a notification this past week.
What did I do?
No, this is not related to you.
Okay.
It's a question I'm going to have for you, though, about how you, if this is something you've considered.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't know if these are still a thing. And maybe they are.
Mm-hmm.
And it probably matters for people like you who've moved away. So I received a notification this week from a Facebook group, a private group that I'm in. No big deal. I don't want you to feel bad about it.
Is that one where you had to like answer a couple questions to get in?
And it is the class of 2005 reunion private group.
Ooh, wow.
And I don't know, excuse me if we've had this conversation before. We've done coming up again on 9 years of podcasting,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So if we've
still in the red, by the way.
have not turned a profit once. If we've had this conversation, I apologize. But I'm curious, for a guy like you, the mean streets of Cinnaminson, turned it into a career of zoology and cleanup of the monkeys in a state far, far away.
Feces everywhere.
Now, when did you graduate high school, Steve?
1999. June 21st, 1999.
So you have possibly had 10, 20, or 25-year reunions since you've been graduated from Cinnaminson High.
Yeah, I believe that I would have no idea of knowing if there was a 5-year. I think there was a 10.
That would have been 09. Well, the 10 would have been even probably right around the time you moved to Michigan anyway. So that it would have been not out of sight, out of mind, but it was going to be difficult for you to make that happen.
I actually remember now. They did a 10-year reunion, and it was Thanksgiving of 2009. Because I guess a lot of people come home for Thanksgiving if they've moved away. I did not come back for that
because you would have been in Michigan for like months, right?
6 months.
Yeah.
There was, I don't think there was a 15, but I know that there was a 20 because I considered going to it. It was at a point where I remember for that weekend I was traveling for work and I was on the East Coast, and I considered changing my flight home and instead of flying back to Michigan, I was going to fly to either Philly or Newark and then stay at home for a couple of days, go to the reunion, and then catch a flight back here. But it just ended up not working out. So I've not actually been to a reunion.
But that is something, you sound like someone who, if the time were right, because 25 is gone now. 25 would have been last year.
25,
that 25 not a one that they do?
I don't know. I would have thought that it would be. That's a big number. 20,
for me, it's
25.
Yeah, but I guess doing 2 in 5 years is probably an aggressive output. That sounds like something, just based on the way you're talking, that you'd consider going.
Oh, I'd go. I'd go.
Really?
I think I would go as long as I knew a handful of people were going.
Okay.
If, like for instance, if my buddy Bob was going, my friend Tom, who I still keep in touch with, a handful of other people, I would be like, yeah, definitely, because those are people that I haven't seen in a long time. So I'd go just
for them,
just to hang out and catch up with those people. Yeah. I'm surprised that this is something that's even on your radar because.
Oh no.
Okay.
No, I don't even know why I'm in this group. It gets about a ping every
couple years, maybe.
Not even. I think it's usually like, I think the last one, let's see. So yeah, it came up that someone posted June 2024, 1 year away from our 20-year reunion. It took me a year and a half to plan the last one by myself. Woof. Someone posted like an old VHS video that they found. And then the last one was 2020 when a couple of classmates passed away in an airplane crash.
Oh.
And
that's a shame.
That's kind of it. Like some people about, hey, this teacher's retiring, and then someone's account got hacked and they're selling Ray-Ban sunglasses for $19.99. And before that, though, was images from the 10-year reunion, which I didn't consider for 1 second going.
Okay.
And so now that the 20 years here, I am also considering for 0 seconds going.
Got it. Is it just because you have bad memories of high school, you don't want to relive that, or you just don't keep in contact with those people? You were like, obviously, we've joked at great extent, at great length on this podcast about how you're not really a social, going out and making friends, chit-chatting guy. Would
not qualify as a friendsman.
Not a friendsman. Okay.
And that is okay.
Did I sneak in like right under the like right before you declared yourself not a friendsman? Because I would think that after knowing you for what, 15 years?
Yeah.
Are we friends? Have we
did the
friend test and we came back positive, right? Affirmative, we are friends.
I don't remember because I don't know if we can take a friend test to determine if we're friends and then also feel like we need to go to a therapy session.
Right. But also not be able to remember if we passed the friend test or not. That should be an indication of the relationship here.
I feel like at this stage, when I think about making or having friends, they just kind of happen. And it's not like a concerted effort because
you're not going out there friend hunting.
No, but like I've gone and visited someone I would consider a close friend of mine who I visited him in St. Louis. He moved to Florida. We visited him in Florida last year, him and his wife and their new daughter. He's a friend.
Yeah.
And I met him when I worked in the beverage industry back in like 2016, 2017.
Yeah.
So like, is that my newest friend? Probably. But it's not like I considered it at the time or even now, like, being in a state of trying to make friends. It's just you get someone's phone number and next thing you know, you're texting occasionally, you're doing whatever.
Yeah.
So it was an accident. And I feel like I need to rectify that now.
Okay.
You mention it.
All right.
Probably give that the old
There's
hook.
something you can do, like just like you got the grenade in your hand.
Oh, no. Yeah.
You just got to pull that pin and whoop.
Right.
Toss it in there.
I mean, they have a newborn kid, right? You just call their kid dumb.
Yeah. Can you bring up something that, I mean, obviously you can, are they a first-time parents? First child?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Just give them parenting advice. Say,
Constantly.
no, you're doing that all wrong.
How you guys, you thought about moving off breast milk and going bottle? Oh, you did. Oh.
Hey, you ever consider doing that? Whatever they're doing. You ever consider doing that the right way?
No, I know I'm not telling you anything you haven't heard. Well, maybe because I'm a parent longer than you, but
6 years over here. Yeah, six years.
I still have Facebook notifications, and I don't want to get too far removed from this discussion of a high school reunion because I want to get you back on board for 30.
So you're not going, to be clear, you're not going to your 20.
And I live in the town.
Yeah. So this wouldn't be until next year, right?
Correct.
Okay.
No, coming up this year. I graduated 2005. So coming up this fall. So
yeah. 06.
Also, Thanksgiving weekend.
Yeah.
Because of the same idea, right?
Yeah, everyone's home. Yep.
But I can't think of anything I want to do less.
Really?
I have considered this a lot over the years because I have a friend, UP Chris, who is genuinely one of the kindest, nicest people I have ever known in my life.
He's a great man. Great man. I enjoy anytime right. He's around.
Much kinder than me. say that openly.
He's from here? He went to high school with you?
From here. Yep. Born and raised here. Went to the UP for college.
Gotcha.
Stayed up there for work.
Turned into a woodsman.
Well, some would call it a hillbilly. Again, there's pictures of him taking his Crocs off his feet to pick up the hot muffler that fell off his truck.
His Ford Ranger, right?
While we were driving down a dirt road in the UP. So I'll leave that to everybody else to determine if it's a woodsman or a hillbilly.
He's not a city slicker.
Right.
Is what we're saying.
So I would assume, will be there with bells on. I think he was trying to convince me to go to 10.
He strikes me as somebody who would have been not class president, but maybe he gives me strong secretary or treasurer vibes.
Well, if he was the treasurer, he'd be following people around being like, are you sure the popcorn for Popcorn Friday costs that much? Like there's a deficit and I need to show why 85 cents was spent when it wasn't.
I mean, very meticulous then.
Yeah.
That's great. That's perfect treasurer material.
Meticulous, hard to be friends with. I'll let you determine. But
seems offensive.
No offense, Chris. But I think he's going to try to put the sales pitch on to go.
Okay.
And I've told him, here's been my thoughts for years on high school reunions. And granted, like I told you, I didn't move away. You did. So in your regard, while I still wouldn't go because that's just my personality, I think it would make more sense for you to be like, oh, yeah, I'll go back because, I moved away. I'm not in touch with a lot of those people, whatever it may be.
It's tough to travel back specifically for it. Sure. But it would be something where if I knew that it was going to be on Thanksgiving weekend and I was going to be back in New Jersey for Thanksgiving, yes, I would go.
I have said for years, if I wanted to keep in touch with you from high school, I did. Mm-hmm. That's been my mentality.
Yeah.
Because in high school and junior high, we're at whatever grade, the teacher started telling us, and I don't know if this was a universal thing, like most of your friends are going to be made after you leave these buildings. You're going to make more friends in college and in workplace, whatever. Yeah. So that kind of like, whoa, okay. And it turned out for me, wildly incorrect.
Almost, you just pulled the plug on making friends.
Yeah.
Around like every 6th grade or so?
Yes. Almost every one of my friends that I still keep in daily contact with, I've known since elementary school or junior high.
Okay.
I don't need to see the people that I fell out of contact with in the 20 years since then.
There's nobody though that you look back on, because I would say generally I'm in the same boat as you, but there are plenty of people where maybe I wasn't great friends with them. Maybe I was just kind of like, an
acquaintance, I guess.
Yeah, an acquaintance. I associated with them because maybe they were we had friend groups that overlapped or something. But there are plenty of people that I would still enjoy seeing, and I would, if I were to see them at the grocery store, I'd be like, oh my God, what have you been up to? Holy crap, I haven't seen you in 20 years. There's none of that?
No. Not a chance in hell.
Fast five. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
That has been a minute.
It's been a while since we've done the Fast Five. You want to start?
You know what? I'll kick us off today.
Okay. All right, let's hear it.
A lot going on in the world. Okay. Yeah. Are you ready? Fast Five.
I'm so ready.
First off, Gene Hackman.
Oh, R.I.P. That's weird though, right? Like, what's going on with that? They were dead for a couple weeks, and his wife was beginning to be mummified.
Yeah. So you didn't get the update last night? The autopsy results were released last night.
Oh no, I did not.
We'll get to that on the turnaround. Next up, measles. That's fun.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah, we had eradicated this quite a long time ago, right?
Yeah.
Like 30 years ago or something.
Yeah.
They had announced, wasn't it like around the mid 90s or something?
I believe so.
They were like, measles is no longer a thing.
Right.
And then people stopped getting vaccinated against it.
Yeah.
And it came back.
I think we can all agree. We can both blame Jenny McCarthy.
Yeah.
Next up, eggs. You sweating the eggs?
I'm not sweating the eggs.
I like talking about the eggs because
I feel
calling them the eggs.
I feel like we need a T-shirt that just says "I like talking about the eggs." So if you could go into the lab and
say no more. I love talking about the eggs. Merch
Talking
coming soon.
Bout.
Yep, apostrophe B-O-U-T.
The eggs.
And then obviously...
talking, there's no G in talking.
And I
like talking about the eggs.
And you know for a fact that eggs will be replacing a couple of those letters.
Yeah,
That's how
it
works.
Yeah.
Next up, March Madness. Huh?
Oh, boy.
Huh? What's it take to get you on board this year?
Look, if you're going to do your thing where you go to the bar...
Don't think it can happen again ever in my life.
Really?
I don't have that stamina.
I'd actually be into it this year. I feel like if you were going to say... Because what's it, 2 weeks from now?
2 weeks.
Week and a half? Yeah. If I knew you were going to be there, I'd show up for at least an hour or two.
Right.
And maybe get some wings.
Yeah.
You know, be a man.
That's
get a beer. Do you go to the kind of place where I can walk into and say, "Yeah, give me a beer"?
Oh, for sure.
But it's not obviously. I don't say what kind of beer because they don't care what kind of beer because on tap they have beer.
Yes, right. You're going to have one tap that says beer, and it might, because of the time of year, it might be green. Mm-hmm. So they're just going to pour one, slide it down
the bar,
and you're going to give a wave.
Yeah.
And then like a joke about, this guy said he's got it right, man. And you guys laugh as you walk past each other.
Maybe something about my wife, like, the ball and chain.
She can't see this on the credit card bill. But makeup.
Am I right?
Going for 1.5 to 2 hours, having some wings and a beer and going home sounds nice. Going for 14 hours, again, sounds miserable.
All right, you want to go to the local place where we met? We met a couple months ago. Remember
I could be down for some basketball.
All right.
I mean, I
didn't want to bring it up.
Oh no, we have to bring it up. We'll bring it up here after the Fast Five. Okay, yeah, Steve. I'm a Jerseyman, and today's is especially.
You're decked out.
Is especially beautiful.
I look forward to taking the picture that will then be posted in just a few days of you in your basketball costume.
Lastly, Mardi Gras.
Never been. I feel like I'm no longer the target audience for Mardi Gras.
Is that I've talked about this for years, that a lot of the things I want to go to now, the events, the places I want to travel, it's kind of event based. Like when I was 19, I think I was 19, went to New York City for the ball drop for New Year's Eve. I'm itching.
Still shocking to this day to imagine you being there. Because current day, Kyle, CDK, obviously.
Yes.
There's nothing that I know you would hate more than that.
Oh, it's an awful experience. No, I shouldn't say that. I enjoyed being there, but once you realize it's a 6-foot ball and you're a quarter mile away.
And where you're standing at 3 p.m. is where you're standing at midnight.
But goes to the point, and I've been craving to go to one of my dreams to visit one day is the Masters. So like a lot of those events,
Augusta, right?
Yeah, Augusta, Georgia. It's event based. Like I want to experience those things. Mm-hmm. And while I may have aged out of a certain part of Mardi Gras, I still kind of want to see it.
I wanted to go to Mardi Gras back in the day when I would see the commercials on TV late at night for Girls Gone Wild. Right?
Like that, you're like, oh, so that's what it is for 7 days.
Yeah.
And obviously I'm a handsome young man. So those girls are going to be, topless with me throwing beads at them.
Sure.
Not repulsed and running inside from the balcony of their suites with their millionaire boyfriends.
No.
They're going to say, that's the guy down there.
Give me the guy with the Pistons jersey.
with his $15 Hurricane Run or whatever those drinks are called. Who's making $8 an hour at the local grocery store.
Yes.
That's the one.
That's the guy. That's the guy. That guy looks like the kind of guy who drives a Cavalier with a bra. Altezza taillights.
I drove it down here, too, because I couldn't afford a plane ticket.
Yeah, it's a 12-inch subwoofer in the back.
2 of them, and it vibrates the heck out of the trunk. Want to come see it?
No? Okay, next time.
Just a 2-seater. I'll move my buddy's stuff. I still kind of want to experience it.
Really? You don't feel it?
I kind of.
I think you would reconsider that as soon as you stepped out onto Bourbon Street that first night.
You been to Bourbon Street?
No. Seems like a dump.
I think I kind of want to do it. I don't know why. That's a place for me that I want to experience. Before that, March Madness. We have the TV on at home watching the buzzer beaters. the upsets.
I'm sorry, what? I was distracted.
I had a moment, Steve, a week and a half ago, where I had to be audibly shushed by my wife in the living room. Do you know how demoralizing that is for a nearly 40-year-old man to be shushed in your own living room?
Because you were excited about the basketball boys?
I jumped up from my chair from a seated position. I don't know how I didn't injure myself. And screamed unexpectedly. Like it just came from the depths of me. Like I couldn't, there's no way I was going to stop it. Michigan State hit a half-court buzzer beater against Maryland on the road a couple of weeks ago. And I was in a seated position, thank goodness not reclined. And the ball went in and jumped straight up, arms in the air, and shh, quiet down. Because Reed was in bed because it was about almost 10 o'clock. So I am ready because she followed that up with shushing me, with surprising me with my first ever visit to the Michigan State Steves.
I saw
basketball
that.
team. Total surprise to me. Didn't realize until we were in the parking lot of a brewery in Lansing to get lunch that I realized as I was putting a sports bet in on the Michigan State-Wisconsin basketball game. I said, wait, is that why we're here? And she said, yeah. And I didn't have my voice back for 3 days.
Wow.
I high-fived and I hugged everybody around me, Steve. It was one of the greatest athletic event experiences I've ever had.
That's great.
It was
great.
a joy.
I saw the picture. I saw that. I mean, you really are a Jerseyman.
That one's in the rotation.
You had your jersey on.
That one's in the rotation.
Boy.
Stay tuned. It'll be coming up in some week, coming up down the road. Before that, eggs. We love talking about the eggs. Because these have become such a dumb symbol.
Yeah.
For
inflation.
For inflation. I get eggs are more expensive than they were 3 months ago, 6 months ago. I get it. For a realistic family, and I ask you this, trying to ask you as unbiased as possible, Steve. You're a family of 4.
Yeah.
You have 2 growing children.
Yep.
You're an adult man who's...
Don't sugarcoat it. I love talking about the eggs.
Love talking about the eggs. How many eggs do you go through in a week?
Typically a dozen.
You go through a dozen eggs in a week?
Maybe. Well, I do. I do my LTE breakfast, of course. Little Tommy Edo breakfast, hard boiled eggs. So I buy them. Look. Do you make a lot of hard boiled eggs?
Never.
Little side quest here.
Make 0 of them because they're an awful, awful food.
Okay. See, I used to do it the old fashioned way. I would hard boil those eggs myself until I realized you can get like a 36 pack at Costco for like pennies on the dollar.
Okay.
It saves so much time.
Of PHB, pre-hard boiled.
Pre-hard boiled, yeah. Come in a little 2-pack.
So you pop open the little container of 2 eggs. Just down the gullet.
Don't chew. Just
it's
like it's cartoonish where you actually see the egg in my throat as it goes all the way down.
It's kind of how you have to give your dog a pill.
Right.
But with Steve, it's just an egg.
Well, yeah, like with your dog, you toss them treat, treat, pill.
Yeah.
They don't realize it. So I eat, me alone, I eat 7 hard-boiled eggs a week, roughly.
That's 1 a day.
1 a day, and then we also have the dozen regular eggs, and we do a breakfast for dinner at least once a week. That's become a big staple in our house.
That is a kid go-to. If you're having struggles, listen, just a couple of daddios.
Couple dads.
And see, we know this, and we've talked about this. You're 2 times the father as I am.
Sure, yeah, twice. How many kids do you have?
Stop at 1.
Okay.
You have 2.
Yeah, there we go.
You know that when the kids aren't eating, which is pretty common, if you throw pancakes
or eggs,
some eggs. I do multiple. I'll do pancakes, and bacon, and I'll fire up some hash brown patties.
Oh, there you go.
And then I'll cook up some eggs, and then I'll have 13 hours of dishes to do.
Yeah. We usually limit it because we do the egg night on like Wednesday nights. Typically are our crazy nights because Evelyn has her ballet class and everything, so it's like super condensed. So it's like, it's breakfast for dinner night. So we do eggs because it's super simple.
Okay.
throw it all in there.
We don't have time today. I need to get your thoughts on Evelyn's ballet.
Oh, okay.
Unbridled, just you and me conversation
exactly.
because
Just
I'm
us.
sure she's talented.
Mm-hmm.
But there's something about watching little kids do athletic things
Anything that requires coordination.
that will suck the soul from your body. So we'll get to that next week. I want to ask
next
you a little bit about that. So eggs are expensive by like an extra $1.50. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
For people who are apparently eating 4 dozen eggs per week, and they just can't they cannot find those extra $4 for their 48 additional eggs.
Yeah.
Apologies to everybody struggling with that. Before that, measles. What's gone? Welcome back, measles.
Hey, welcome back. Should we have a welcome back measles party? Maybe a welcome back measles T-shirt.
That's not
I
bad.
bet that would sell.
Are measles are they little bumps?
I think.
How do they show themselves? Let me pull up the black and white photos because again, this was eradicated.
The bumps are more chicken pox. Measles is more. It's almost like a rash, like a patterned rash.
Okay. Yeah, it does say a rash 7 to 10 days after exposure. Red blotchy rash starts on the face. That's the best spot to start. It spreads to the rest of the body. May last for 5 to 6 days.
Okay, maybe we can get we can have AI draw us a picture of a middle-aged adult with measles on their face, and then we can just make a shirt that says "Welcome back, measles."
I'm already thinking about a design for this, and this is again.
Is it safe to say that by the time you're listening to this, "Welcome back, measles" is available in our merch store?
Here's what I'm already thinking, because yes, and I want the poster for "Welcome Back, Cotter," but replaced with measles. Again, this shirt is for an audience of like 6. And we need one of those 6 to listen to this podcast. Who's like, hey, it's Welcome Back, Cotter, but with measles, right, guys?
Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back.
That is the most niche merch we've thought about.
Fan of Welcome Back, Cotter? Fan of measles coming back?
Have we got the shirt for you?
Welcome back.
Measles.
Okay.
And lastly, Gene Hackman sadly passed away. I don't want to have the conversation about is it sadly passed away. He was a 95-year-old man. I mean, it is sad that people pass away.
It's sad. It's not suddenly.
Sure,
I mean,
that's true.
He was 90, 96 or whatever. But
the autopsy came out last night, Steve. And it sounds like his wife, Betsy, I believe, was in her 60s, passed away on February 11 of something called hantavirus, which is very rare and spread by rodents.
Oh, no.
Cannot be spread from person to person. So it is rare and deadly, and she passed away on February 11. And 95-year-old Gene Hackman with advanced Alzheimer's passed away on February 18.
Oh, I didn't realize he had Alzheimer's.
I don't think it was public knowledge.
Gotcha.
So he was mobile around the house for 1 week with his wife's deceased body.
So sad.
Presumably unaware of that. I shouldn't even say presumably. That's not my place.
Right.
Was in the home with his deceased wife until he passed away from what they're saying is heart disease, not a heart attack.
Yeah.
Heart disease on February 18.
Oh, that's so, man.
And the dog had a procedure done, and that's why it was in the cage. I don't know when it had the procedure done, but then obviously when both owners passed away, nobody to feed.
Man,
let the
that's
dog
really
out.
sad.
That is.
Yeah, because when we first heard about this, like a week and a half ago, everyone just assumed, there must have been a carbon monoxide leak or something.
Yeah. I mean, the nefarious thought was like some type of some type of decision that they had made together.
Right, yeah.
That was my alternative theory.
Yeah.
But then the dog thing didn't make a lot of sense because 2 dogs were alive on the property and running around. This was the only dog who was in a cage and deceased. So,
sure.
It's sad and
very sad.
Man, it just in my head that's like the plight of the caretaker, right? Yeah. Because the caretaker, especially in this regard, with an advanced Alzheimer's 95-year-old person, and then for you to have some rare disease that I don't know how you would know about it just unless you got bit by a rabid rat a week before and just brushed it off. So, very sad.
Yeah.
Again, long life, retired in 2004, and legitimately retired. Did not do one of those where you still see him pop up occasionally. This man did not act in anything since 2004.
Yeah, good for him. Hopefully he had a good 20 years.
Yeah, I mean, lived in New Mexico. Didn't seem like he wanted anything additional to do with being a celebrity. And obviously it's not the way that you would anticipate somebody passing away at that age or in that manner. But man, that's hard to wrap your brain around. Oof.
Fast five. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
All right, we got a little bit of overlap on our list here. First on my list,
I'm going rapid today.
spring training.
Oh my God, am I over the moon? I'll text me and my friend Ryan, who I was talking about a little bit ago, who lives in Florida. Him and I are swapping spring training links.
Oh, boy.
Talking spring training all the time.
Talking ball, right?
Oh, I love it.
All right, next, LeBron James
God, what a baby.
and Stephen A. Smith.
He's such a baby.
They gotten a little bit of a courtside dust up.
Yeah.
What was that? Was it because LeBron didn't like how Stephen A. talked about Bronny?
Essentially, yes. That's what it seems like, is that he confronted him directly about things he'd said on one of his multitude of TV, radio, podcast platforms. Comes off very thin-skinned, very baby-like, even being a father. Very, very baby. Your son is a professional athlete, probably doesn't deserve to be, with a contract higher than what most of those draft picks receive in the NBA, and not playing well or very much. Man,
He's open to criticism, just like anybody else is open to criticism.
that would be what I would say, is that your son is a professional athlete who is subject to every form of discussion that you are.
Yeah.
That a player from the 76ers is. It doesn't matter.
Fair enough. Next, the Pope. Are we heading towards a conclave?
Is he going to make it?
I don't know. I see stories every day like Pope sitting up.
Yeah.
Pope, and when they're getting, like, when they're that detailed, you got to assume that
Yeah.
we're going to be seeing the black smoke soon.
Yeah. Should I travel for that event?
Oh, yeah, to the Vatican.
Should we go? Should we live?
Should we go to the Vatican?
Can we live podcast from the underneath the smokestack or whatever?
I don't know how close we'll be able to get, but
Stay tuned.
who's your money on for his successor?
Well,
you know something? We'll get to that on the turnaround.
Up next,
Severance. The TV show, the Apple TV Plus show Severance.
Yeah, wildly popular.
Wildly popular.
And probably not cut out for someone like me who watches TV, shouldn't say casually, but this is a show for the deep, deep divers. Because every single thing on this show means something.
Or at least they want you to think that everything means
and I'm
something.
not cut out for that type of investigation, Steve. I'm a baby. Listen, I'm a baby bird. Okay? I'm sitting there with that TV and my mouth like wide open. You got to feed me. Okay? I need like a voiceover saying, and now Adam Scott's character.
So not even his name.
Yeah, no, I already forgot his name. Was it Mark?
Mark.
Okay.
Mark Scout.
Mark Scout. He's headed to the grocery store to get a sinister product. And then I know I need to look what that product is because it's sinister.
It's sinister, yeah. Not a lot of times that happens.
I do enjoy it, and a lot of times I'm a bit embarrassed to admit this. I'll watch the episode, and I'll type in Severance episode 7.
What does it mean?
And I'll read like the summary because I forgot. I don't know what half it means.
I'm right there with you. I've done the same thing. Now, a couple of weeks ago, I said, hey, if you haven't watched the most recent episode yet, you're going to be blown away. In the first,
90 seconds?
90 seconds. Yeah. Because something that is near and dear to our hearts, something that is in my peripheral, appeared in this episode. I think at this point we can talk about it. It's not really a spoiler of any kind.
Oh, yeah.
But the greatest song ever written about a shipwreck made
in the Great Lakes.
In the Great Lakes. Yeah. Made an appearance where a doctor is humming The Wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald.
Yep.
Amazing.
Not just one time. Because I told you when I came in here last week, he did it again the next episode. He did it again. Which in this show
means something.
It has to mean something. So wait a minute. I have not watched the most recent episode.
Kyle, when I tell you
no,
that something amazing happened in last night's episode.
Are you about to tell me the Wreck of the Eddie Fitz means something to one of the most popular shows on television today?
Bigger.
Oh, man. Okay.
I'll tell you more about that
We got to upgrade our Eddie Fitz merch.
on the turnaround.
Because we're about to sell a bunch because I'm going to throw the tag of severance on all of our Eddie Fitz merch.
And finally, the price of eggs was 5th on my list.
Yeah, who cares? Let's get back to severance, okay? Yeah, they're expensive. Deal with it, people. It's eggs.
Going back to number 4, severance.
Yeah, and the Wreck of the Eddie Fitz.
I feel like all of the things that are important to us are like combining.
Okay.
It's like the Voltron of the Steve and Kyle podcast is combining.
Are they actually on the ship?
Because we got the Wreck of the Eddie Fitz showing up. And then last night, I might burst your bubble here a bit. It didn't have anything to do with the Wreck of the Eddie Fitz. But
We so desperately need those slide whistle sounders.
But I feel as though this was even bigger. Okay? Last night's episode.
Unless you found James Brown's legs.
Last night's episode, I don't want to spoil anything for you, but it was another one of those deep dive type episodes where you get a little bit of background about...
You can just call it boring.
About one of the characters. Kyle, when I tell you that we get some background info on a character that we didn't know a whole lot about.
Okay.
They kind of go back and revisit their past. You get a little insight into maybe how they grew up, why they are the way they are.
Oh, man.
There's a
Parents on the
scene.
Eddie Fitz?
There's a scene where this character confronts a character from their past,
Okay.
an acquaintance from their past. You're not really sure what the relationship is.
Okay.
They interact. And then this character, who we don't know, walks out of a restaurant and gets into a Jeep Comanche and drives away.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Let me tell you how I sat up and fist pumped. I said, I don't know who that guy is, but that's a Jeep Comanche.
I can't imagine Annette caring about something less.
You're going to fist pump when you watch it, just like I did.
I gotta.
I was so tired last night while we were watching this episode. I said to Annette, I was like, boy, I'm really going to try to make it through this, but I might have to rewatch some of it in the morning. And then that Jeep Comanche popped up on screen. It looked like an 87 or an 88. It was definitely a four-wheel drive because I could see the front differential as it was driving. All I wanted was more info on the Comanche. Was it a Pioneer? An Eliminator? A big ton package? I don't know. I'm not sure.
There's nothing.
Kyle, the Jeep Comanche Facebook pages this morning were all aflutter.
I bet they were.
With the big news.
Oh, so the Facebook groups were babbling, and they're saying, "Hey, maybe our cars are going to go up in value now, right?"
You're going to pause your screen
Man,
when you see this. Thank you, Apple TV, for including greatest vehicle of a generation. I don't know.
It's important to say it appears this show is set. It looks like in the 90s, right? Maybe the late 80s? So did you have anything like, the transconductor rod wasn't made until 1993, so...
This baby was period correct.
Well, I'm glad the Apple TV and Ben Stiller did their research. Maybe that... You know what, Steve? I don't want to give you a little charge this morning, but...
You think
maybe they were scrolling the forums to make sure they didn't offend any of the Comanche folk. Not the Native American Comanche folk.
No, different.
Different. Jeep, the owners of the Jeep Comanches, which I think we've kind of co-opted as calling now Comanche folk.
Kyle, I think it's safe to say that both Severance and the Steve and Kyle podcast, specifically the Steve portion of the Steve and Kyle podcast, have their finger on the pulse of what America wants to see, and that is Jeep Comanches.
So, Steve's version of the finger of the pulse of America, is the 1970s hit song "Wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald," and
R.I.P. Gordo.
a single cab truck that was discontinued in 1992. 1992.
You big dummy. There are only a couple thousand made in 1992, which is why they are highly sought after.
There's a group of people who would probably say the Pulse of America did, in fact, stop around 1992. So you're not wrong.
I don't even want to go the Pope. Okay.
Boo-hoo, old man's going to pass away. Great, that's a
LeBron,
bummer.
hey, big baby. Spring training.
Oh, man. Yes.
Boy, did you see that clip of your Detroit Tigers taking on my Philadelphia Phillies the other night?
Tabac home runs on three straight
pitches. It was a grand slam and then a
solo
shot followed by another solo shot on 3 straight pitches. The score went from 0-0 to 6-0 in a span of 3 pitches.
And what made it better is this was all while the manager of the Phillies was on one of those headset television interviews with total silence.
He didn't say a word.
Because how do you talk while that's happening to your team? Now, granted, it's just spring training, but still, watching your pitcher get demolished like that 3 pitches in a row, I don't know how, as a TV announcer, you're even supposed to go, so, Bill, about that 5 spot in your rotation.
They did at the end. They said, well, Rob, it's an unfortunate time to have you on. Yeah.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. I love spring training, though. If I lived close, I can't think of anything I'd want to do more on like a Tuesday afternoon if I had some free time than I'm going to mosey on over to the 3,000 seat.
That would be fun.
Ballpark to watch these kids just, hit a few balls. And oh, man, love spring training.
Okay, well, we've reached the end. Is this the time that you...
No. We don't have time.
No?
We got to... This week's jersey brought to you, Steve, and I want to do an unveil.
You know something? Oh, I need to stop this.
You requested this one this week after I teased it last week.
Yeah.
This was not purchased, given to me from some type of, I'm assuming, some closet at a former workplace that was just left over. Mm-hmm. This is, again, second week in a row of a Detroit Pistons jersey.
Yes.
2 more Pistons jerseys than I would have ever assumed I had.
Yeah.
But this is...
big number 3. Is that?
This is Ben Wallace.
Oh, okay.
The
Fro, right?
The Fro, yes, one of the best Pistons of my lifetime. Played the most NBA games of any undrafted player in NBA history. Defensive Player of the Year multiple times, and now Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
So I received this. This has been worn out in public one time by a friend to a Pistons game, probably 10 years ago, where we made posters to go to the Pistons game and sat in the upper bowl and held them proudly. And this, Steve, is my Ben Wallace jersey.
Is that a game worn by Ben Wallace himself?
If Ben Wallace wore this, he'd be on a diet.
Because Ben Wallace, he's a very tall person, no doubt.
They even tell you, it's like when they made these, they wanted people to know that only fat people were wearing these. Because right on the bottom where you'd see the NBA logo and hey, it is your jersey, they put in gigantic letters, 2XL.
And it is. That's every part of 2XL.
This is what we were talking about last week when you see in those romantic comedies, like Natalie Portman slinking over to a hallway.
Right.
And she's wearing the boyfriend shirt, right?
Yeah.
And it goes down to her knees. But it's me, and
Okay.
it's a jersey.
All right. So at Steve and Kyle, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram to see the picture of you. I'll get a picture of you before we get out of here. You standing in the corner wearing a 2XL Ben Wallace.
That's right.
Detroit Pistons jersey.
Been retired for 14 years, I believe.
Yeah.
A nice collection to Kyle's Jersey Corner.
Oh, yeah. And look, we are just days away from both of us receiving Roman Hammerlick Tampa Bay Lightning t-shirt.
And I have to tell
T-shirt
you,
jerseys.
I am this close to pulling the trigger on a Hammerlick jersey for you.
When those shirts show up, by the way, expect me to send you a text that just says, on my way.
Yep.
And I want you waiting out on your front lawn.
Hammer time. Hammer time.
Never mind, they're going to get here when I'm away for a few days. So
Do you need me to...
maybe I can convince my mother-in-law, who's going to be here with the kids,
to drive over
and drop off your shirt.
Do we need to do anything to deter the porch pirates? Because this is a high-value item.
I'll make sure that it's highly protected. Okay. At Steve and Kyle, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We will post, again, the Pistons jersey. Eventually there will be pictures of us in our Hammerlick shirts. No doubt. Very proud. We will talk to you next week.
See you.